See, unless a thorough acid wash of the Shastras are done, do not imbibe any idea, because I'll give you one example. Compassion, a concept. Compassion can be taught with various reasoning. Be compassionate, only then others will be compassionate to you. That is a good quality. Many of your elders were compassionate. Somebody who was very compassionate was divine. Many logic. But giving the right logic as the Shastras describe, you are one with everyone at the source level. So compassion is a methodology to reach your oneness. With this context, when the compassion is taught, only then it is a spiritual practice. If you are given a compassion, do it, only then you will get it. It's only social level instruction. That is not spiritual lesson. So everything, even the context you are given, has to be from the original context of what Sadashiva wanted, what the Vedic tradition wanted. Only then, only those understandings, those practices. For example, integrity. You can be taught integrity. Integrity is nothing but being responsible for others' time. If you come on time, only then others also will come on time, and all of us can be responsible for the class. This is only a social level of integrity. But integrity from the original level as a Vak Shakti, only from that context, if the integrity is introduced to you, every day when you practice integrity, that power will manifest. If the context is only about the social responsibility, you will become a good manager and CEO. You will not manifest power. The context with which the technique or the method or the life solution or the truths are introduced also matters. Not just the truth alone. Many people come and tell me, all gurus teach same. I tell them, then do what you want. No. Context differs. Only the superficial statements may look like same. Context differs. Understand? I am not even asking you to get enlightened for enlightenment. If you become enlightened, you can serve Sadashiva. You can be part of him. You can experience the oneness. Even the context I am setting is from the different angle. I was being criticized by some of these gurus, saying that one says, don't open third eye for the sake of God. And the other one says, it cannot be opened and it is dangerous. And another one puts his disciple on the job, go and attack Nityananda in the media, social media, saying that he is irresponsibly awakening the people's third eye. Finally, none of these fellows have read the original science. All I asked, I think I gave a satsang especially dedicated to them one day. I asked them, any one of you, give me a original Shastra reference, why it should not be opened or whether it can be opened or not. Any one of you talk based on the Shastra, let's have a debate. No one is responding. I sent them also a link. And I directly invited them. Let's have a friendly debate. You be in your place, I'll be in my place. Let's have two-way video conferencing. Friendly debate. Let's bring Atma Pramana and Shastra Pramana as the Pramanas. And analyze. I tell you, Shastra Pramana is too important if you want to be a teacher. If just your own enlightenment, Atma Pramana is enough. You don't need Shastra Pramana. But if you want to be a teacher, Shastra Pramana is required. Otherwise, the disciples are destroyed. It is just abusal to the followers. As I said, these few things. This guy did not drink during his sadhana period naturally. But he doesn't understand it is a requirement, technical requirement for certain practices. Only if he studies Shastra, he will understand naturally some things which happened around me due to Vatavarana is a specific technical requirement for that experience to be reproduced. When I became enlightened, there are something which was because of my atmosphere, I did not even practice it purposely, or I am not even aware that I practiced it. I needed to remember clearly point 1, 2, 3 if I want to teach. That is why I insist Shastra Pramana is required. I am not even doubting or questioning their experience. I don't even want to touch that area. Even if you had, as you claim, if you want to teach, you have to have Shastra Pramana. Otherwise, there are many things which you practice without knowing. You will not be able to reproduce it on the disciples. Big danger. You understand? How many of you are getting what I am saying? It's too dangerous. Always ask for original reference. With a lot of respect. With a lot of, not that we do not trust on these that. We wanted to know because it is too risky for us. It's the life. Fortunately, you had some method to come out. How many is not able to come out? You understand? Enlightenment is good for them. Only if they acid wash it with Shastra, they will be able to teach to others. Why are the people shying away from Shastra? Two reasons. One, the moment you accept, you also have to practice many things in that. Disciples will question you. Understand? Second, the whole authority now goes to Shastra. You cannot be the autocratic, doing what you want. You understand? Too serious. So understand the danger. Always. Vedas and Agama, which is original Shruti in Hindu tradition, original Hinduism. Stand by the Veda, anything which stands the scrutiny of the Veda Agamas. Accept that and live it, enjoy it, celebrate it. If it does not stand the scrutiny, you don't need it, you have enough here itself. Why do we need it? We don't need it. There ends the matter. It is the most safest method. Most safest method. I can 100% with all my integrity, I can stand in front of Kalabhairava and tell, Prabhu, I have helped few people. If I have not, but I have not harmed anyone. I helped some. If some I have not helped means, but I have not harmed. Because I always stood with integrity with you. All the revelations you gave, I reflected back, acid washed back with your original words. Only then, only if it stands the double layer scrutiny of Atma Pramana and Apta Pramana, I shared it with the world as Sakshi Pramana, only after the double layer scrutiny. So people are safe forever. I have not left anything as a trap for people to suffer. And I am very clear, I only left the royal path, never a trap. So always make sure you are safe. I understand. This field has its sacredness, which need to be verified. But here where the tradition is a smell and the Vatavarana of us, the Vatavarana of this country is tradition. Sometimes they openly disregard Shastras. And our Shastras are also so beautifully, it only thoroughly guides human beings, never binds them. It's a clear, powerful science. Blessed are those who are directly at the feet of Sadashiva. Yes, next question.
Swamiji?
Yes.
Here, this side, left side.
Mm.
Well, from the school times, I've always been told that I'm very distracted. Okay, and I've never realized that till like say 11, 12 or something. And once I started realizing when my mom told me that, you get distracted, and from school times I've always been telling you this. And I was just realizing that time when my mom was telling me I was always getting distracted, then I became too silent from then. When my mom ever since told me that you get distracted.
No, did she give a solution?
No, she didn't give any solution
Then I'll give you the solution, don't worry. If she doesn't give a solution, still now she is getting distracted. What about that? So relax, don't bother about what she says. I'll give the solution, leave it. Just constantly telling you are distracted is no way going to help you. It only put you in guilt and low mood, lower inner image. And I tell you, don't bother about your mom's words to you. And getting distracted is not a big problem. Your thought currents, whether it is concentrated or distracted, does not matter. It is to skin level. I'll work on the bone marrow level and do what needs to be done, you relax. Understand? Telling you that you are getting distracted is not a solution. That will only make the problem worse. You relax. Next.
Hello, Swamiji. Right behind you. First of all, I want to say thank you for bringing me here. Because of my brother, I started following you. And you have made me question everything in life. So thank you for confusing me, but at the same time bringing me here to get me answers and putting me on the right path. I have two main questions. The first one, I was coming to IA hoping that you would do a session as Kalaberova. I have heard a lot of very positive things about it, and so I wanted to know if you were planning to.
See, maybe I'll do one thing. I can let him land and give darshan, but answering questions literally takes hours when it comes to 150, 160 of your questions. Understand? Maybe you guys can see him.
That would be amazing.
Without having the question answer session. When he lands, how he looks, you can see him. Because actually when he lands, he changes even the body dimension. How many of you have seen him physically? You can see the body dimension changes. All right. We'll organize for a darshan.
Thank you. And my second last question. We were doing the third eye practice earlier on today, and some team members and we noticed that Vibhuti was actually coming out from the mirror, and it started smelling like Vibhuti. And so my question is, why? Why does that
Sometimes
happen?
sometimes when the third eye power manifests, the materialization power also starts manifesting. I can say that initial trace of that power is manifesting. Once you master third eye, I'll instill this power. The materialization is also one of the powers manifested by third eye awakening.
Thank you. So it's not you that did this Vibhuti, is it? Ah.
Relax.
Thank you.
Swamiji, at the serving side.
Actually, some of these fellows are criticizing this third eye as occult and mystic. It is neither occultism nor mysticism. It is science of Shakti. There's no equivalent English term for it. There's no equivalent English term for it. It's neither paranormal nor supernormal. It's neither paranormal nor supernatural and all that. As I said, third eye is not supernatural, naturally superb. There's a big difference. And another one thing, all this, only when you see it and experience it, you will understand. That's where the whole thing boils down to. I'm so happy. I'm born in an Indian village and given a solid grounding of tradition. See, with the solid grounding of tradition, if you are doing the Guru's job, you are on a mission. Without the solid grounding, if you are doing Guru's job, you are on a profession. It's not a mission, a solid grounding. You can't be doing some business at some time and suddenly turn and start this new business. New venture I started, it became successful, so I closed the old venture. Understand? You have to have the grounding. These photographs are the witness and evidence for the grounding. At least all you guys, save yourself. Always, whosoever may be, whoever's experience it may be, have a second opinion of Shastras. Even doctors go for second opinion. Have the second opinion of Shastras. Nobody is more brilliant than our Vedic rishis and Sadashiva. They have done enough research, revealed enough material, not only for this generation, for the generations to come. And same way now, whatever I told you about the states of consciousness and all that, I can give you completely original Shastric references. A clear original Agamic verses where these details intricately explained and the doubts answered. My contribution is only, I have also experienced it and it is exactly matching with my experience. So the way I am presenting is the way you can relate and understand. The language which you speak, the examples and the descriptions which you understand, the word games which you understand, only that is my contribution. Understand? Otherwise, the original, the source is from Sadashiva.